beautiful soul, welcome to another video. This isn't gonna be a reading, it's really just gonna be me talking. So definitely grab a cup of tea or some coffee and some water and let's talk together. So I've been in this space, especially in just the past hour, where I get to a point where I'm getting revelations, I'm getting spiritual downloads, but I'm still asking about things. I'm like, okay, universe, why are these things happening? And I find that my angels and my guides tend to reveal things to me in seasons and in phases, right? So starting with just kind of insects. So I haven't been seeing like a lot of angel numbers in the past few weeks. I think I saw them a lot more when I was living in my car. I don't know why, it's just more attuned to angel numbers, I assume. And now it's been insects, and something that came through was just seeing the phases of when I saw those insects and what I felt and attributed to them, the meaning to them. And of course, everyone will have their own meaning towards things, but a few months ago it started with seeing bees all the time, and it was like bees were always around me, and I was like, it really triggered me because I've never been stung, and it was just like, why are all these bees around me? And I have this beautiful deck, the Wild Mystic deck, and it's basically based on animals, not every single animal, but typically when I see a prevalence of a type of animal, and I'm really noticing it from the get-go, I start to look at like the different passages in here. So for the bee, it represents working, hard work, like working towards a goal. At that time, I don't think I really put it into practice in terms of like doing anything particularly, but it was started with bees, and then it was flies, and that really drove me crazy because for me, I attribute flies with death, but also with like decay or with like shit, basically, right? Because that's where they come from. And you know, I started seeing a lot of problems with my car. I started feeling really upset and discontent with the lifestyle I was living. I started to feel very kind of out of sync. I didn't feel grounded. And as I saw the flies more and more, after like cleaning my car, doing all these things in the natural realm, I was like, okay, what does this truly mean? And with my intuition, with my angels, my guides, the interpretation that I got was that it was kind of death, rebirth energy, even though I attribute that more specifically to moths. But the death energy felt like it was really about this time of being in my car was coming to an end, and that truly was the case. And then after moving into my apartment for like 1 week, I had cockroaches, and it was just random out of the blue. It was about the second week I started here, and it was like, I think 4 in 1 week. 2 ended up in Teddy's food bowl. One was in his food bowl one day, another 2 were in his water the next day. And then I found them in my closet, and I haven't seen them since then, but it's like, okay, what does this mean? Up to now, I still don't fully know what that means. I don't know. I haven't really delved too deep into that yet, especially since I haven't seen them in a bit. But also just recognizing the practices I had around seeing them. It was all about cleaning and maintaining the cleanliness of my home. It wasn't that my home was dirty or anything like that, but it really did put me into an overdrive of cleaning. So even now as I'm talking about it, it's like, okay, what do I need to clean out spiritually, mentally, physically? And I really noticed in the past week, even with physically trying to maintain my cleanliness of the home, I've also focused on cleaning out my body, detoxing my body, having, I have a lot of supplements. My position now, as of this video, is a vitamins manager. And even with stepping into that role, my whole view of health and wellness has really up leveled in a whole nother way. And I've started taking a lot of supplements. I've started really focusing on my gut health and my body health. And also, during that time of cleaning and everything, another revelation that came through, or another understanding that came through, and that is how to keep the weight. That's random that just kind of started playing by itself. Another revelation that came through literally randomly as I was washing the dishes one day was how, okay, in my head it was like, okay, I'm about to turn 24, and I've been thinking slightly about returning back to school, finishing my degree, not in the same way as I started. So for those who don't know, I have 3 years of a biological sciences coursework, but I never finished my final year for reasons I couldn't fully control. And in that time, I was severely depressed because of that, because my purpose, who I was really connected to finishing that degree and becoming a doctor. But looking at it from now, I'm like so grateful because I've transformed in the way I connect to my purpose. I've transformed in what I want to do. After working in a hospital, I really realized I don't want to see people in that state of suffering already. I want to be kind of at the forefront of that and helping people with preventative care, preventative health. And so during that session of washing the dishes, realizing that the timing, it's been 2 years since I ended school, and with me turning 24, I can now apply for financial aid as an independent adult, absent of my parents, and I'm in no contact with them, so that's seriously helpful. And also starting to look for degree programs and stuff, and just saying to the universe, if you provide for me in this, then I will go after 100%. This is something I'm excited about, something I'm passionate about. And I found a degree program that I absolutely love. It's a holistic nutrition degree. I've applied for my FAFSA. I'm trying to see what my options are in terms of paying for it. But just the degree program in and of itself, it's completely online, but it covers a whole range of holistic health, like aromatherapy, holistic health, medicinal herbs, like all the things that I want to study. And I've transferred, I've gotten my transcript and trying to see if I can transfer my credits and all these things in the past week, where it's like, okay, universe, this is what I want. And yet, another thing that has been popping up for me is this level of, not doubt. I think I've finally grown in the past year, really, out of that energy of doubt, where I'm really in this state of just flowing. I'm in a flow state, quite literally, of literally anything that the universe is putting before me, I flow with it, and I do what I need to do within that phase, within that energy, because I know it's for my growth. I'm no longer at that place of resistance, I think. So yeah, even these things that are difficult or hard, I'm no longer in the state of questioning everything or second guessing myself. I applied to a degree program that I have no idea how much it's gonna cost. I have no idea how I'm gonna pay for it, but it just feels right, so I do it, right? And I just want to emphasize and stress and share that in the journey right now, it may feel difficult, it may feel upsetting, it may be like you don't know exactly what's going on, but just think back. That's something that's really helped me, is thinking back to other circumstances and situations that I've come out of and grown out of or changed out of, and just recognizing what divine forces, what divine power was moving in that situation, and just apply that to I don't know what's going on fully right now, but I trust that it's for my greatest good, for my highest good. And yeah, so anyway, with the insects, now it's spiders. I've been seeing like Teddy. Oh my god. He just jumped onto the sink in the kitchen. Now it's spiders. So I noticed one a few days ago, and my cat noticed it first. He was like looking at it, trying to pounce at it. And then I saw one in the bathroom today, and then I saw another one, might be the same one. I saw another one in the kitchen, and then I'm like, okay. Usually my threes are where I start to really notice things, so it's like, okay, universe, what does this mean? What is the energy of the spider? Like, I quite literally saw an Instagram post about it. It was more along the lines of like hoodoo and when your ancestors send you spiders. It wasn't about meanings or anything. It was just like a kind of a skit kind of video. But it's interesting. I saw that like not even a few days ago, and now I'm seeing spiders everywhere. And so I go to my Wild Mystic deck and I pull out the spider. Actually, when I shuffled it, it popped out of here as well, but I have to speak a little louder because it's raining. But the word for spider is creates. And I kind of sat with that for a little bit. I'm sure more and more revelation is going to come through as the days and the time passes on, but creates. And oh, also another thing, I saw this really quickly and I thought back to last week when Teddy was outside. He actually brought inside a snake. That was a lie. I had to put that outside. But he brought in a snake, and as I was like flipping through the pages, I saw that a snake is rebirth. So I was like, wow, that's quite interesting. Because I've been feeling like these next 6 months of this year, or from June onwards, has really been an energy of almost, I'm trying to remember the word that I said, of not only rebirth, but also like kind of reclaiming or getting back what was lost, almost like karmic completion. But you know, this idea of getting a job where within 2 weeks I was promoted to a department manager, and I got back to the pay that I left my old job at in 2 weeks. Like, that's absolutely crazy. And restoration, that was the word. So restoration, this energy of restoring me back to kind of like different circumstances where I left because things weren't cohesive. And now this energy of going back to school, finishing my education, is coming back up, and it's like that's restoring me not only in the right mindset and the right place of now I know what I want to pursue, but also restoring me back to being able to complete my degree. It was something that was really important to me. You know, I might tell people that, oh, I did 3 years of college, and not really go into the details as to why I actually stopped going. But they might look at that and be like, oh, like you were lazy, or, you know, it was some, like, how could you just go 3 years and not finish? And I'm like, it wasn't really my choice. I had no control over that. But at the same time, now I can look back and be like, you know what, I'm grateful for that break. Even though it was difficult in it, because I had to see all my classmates, all my friends move on to medical school and kind of do exactly what I expected that I would be doing. But now I'm in this energy of like, I know exactly what I want to do. I know how I want to serve others. I know how I want to help people. And I'm clearer on that. And I'm not stuck in a school or a system where I'm probably going to be miserable because it wasn't actually the path for me. So now I'm in a place of complete gratitude to the universe of like how many interruptions have happened along the way, because it brought me exactly on the right path of where I need to be. Anyway, so with the spider, it creates this energy of creation, this energy of kind of forming your own destiny. I just want to show you the card. I can find it really quickly. The energy of creating your own destiny, the energy of forming your own web, forming your own story, right? So this is what it looks like. And then I definitely recommend, like, if you can take time, if you have any sort of cards, any oracle cards, tarot cards, like, just sit down. It doesn't have to be a daily practice unless you feel guided to do that. I don't do that every single day. I haven't touched my cards in like 2 weeks, but there are times when things are happening up here and I'm getting revelations, I'm getting clarity, but it starts to feel a little bit much. And so I begin to look to cards to kind of break it down or lay it out a little bit clearer, or I begin to ask questions for clarity. And I want to share this with you because this is where my personal journey is right now. This is where, I've been mentally. So I had that create card come out, and something that I've been really focused on is, like, it feels like a lot of manifestations have come forth for me in the last month, right? My apartment, my job, and it's like, okay, what else is left? And I think I mentioned it in another video, this energy of love, right? But I have to say that this energy of love doesn't always feel right for me. And at first I was like, okay, maybe I'm still battling with wounds of insecurity, and in a way I still am, but that is not what holds me back from love, because who I am as a person, my Leo energy, my Leo sun and my Leo moon, they come out a lot more when I interact with anyone I meet. And I feel like I don't hold my personality back or who I am back, even when I'm in a situation where I think the other person's attractive or that they may like me or what, like, I don't hold myself back. So it's not even a level of insecurity of holding who I am back from someone else. It's this energy of like constantly questioning, is that actually what I want? I've had this set of like thinking since Gemini season. We're in Cancer season now, and it's just this energy of like, do I actually want a family? Do I actually want a partner? Like, it's not simply about doing what's expected of me anymore. Like, this is my path, this is my own journey, and I have a say over what I get to do. And just recognizing like what having a child means, right? What having a partner means. And it's like, is that truly what I want? And I am a master number 11, right? So the 11 carries two energies. It carries the 1 and it carries the 2. The 1 energy is very centered around leadership and hermit mode kind of energy of like self. And I feel that that is where I'm at and have been for a long time, and that's where I thrive. And then the 2 energy is more about partnership, community. Not that the 1 energy doesn't have that, but it's more, it secludes itself at the end of the day, right? It's more in itself and within, and focused on self and growth more than anything. And so as I'm shuffling my cards, I'm like, okay, universe, what kind of 11 am I? What kind of path is before me? What kind of journey, what am I meant to do in this life? Which is a question I've asked so many times, but I feel like I get different answers depending on where I am in life, right? And so the first set of cards I shuffled were from my herbal astrology deck. And the very first card that I got was Ashwagandha, Purpose. I don't remember specifically what question I asked. I think I asked like, what kind of 11 am I? And I got Purpose. So immediately what happened in my mind was like, okay, so maybe this particular incarnation for me is more focused on myself and my purpose and serving others, but it's more about my level of the journey that I go on and learning and growing, and the self kind of inspection, and just the way that I analyze my life, the way that I analyze myself, the way that the revelations that I get chapter by chapter in my life. I am meant to share that with others, because not everyone has that level of like looking within. Not everyone has that awareness of what questions to ask, or even how to connect to their intuition. And while I don't necessarily see myself at the level of like a spiritual teacher or a guru in any way, I do believe that that's kind of where I'm meant to ascend to. in a spiritual way, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I feel like this energy is like, overall, this incarnation is about myself for others. It's about my growth and my awareness and my ascension, and the things that I learn, and isn't this necessary? My path, my journey is necessary for me to give out wisdom to others. And I've seen that already at play, but this is just like answering that in another way. And then this was an interesting card. So it's lavender, but it's the Weaver, and it has a spider web here, which immediately I connected with the spider card. But it's also this energy of weaving, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Like, connecting, creating. What do spiders do? They weave webs. They create these amazing artistic, it serves a purpose, obviously, to catch their prey, but they're creating and weaving stories and words and energy with their webs, right? And it's such a beautiful energy. And even with the way that this woman, she's carrying a child, which kind of like threw me off, because I'm like, I don't want to read too much into it, but she's kind of just walking along her path, doing what she needs to do, creating music and just flowing. And that's really the energy that I was getting there. And then the last card I got, or the third card that I got, was Rue, which is protection. And ever since I was a young child, I always connected with the lion. I think even before I really knew about zodiac signs and horoscopes and all that stuff, I've always connected with the lion as my favorite animal, as my spirit animal, and my spirit totem. So seeing this card, Rue, protection, gives me the energy of angelic protection, but also ancestral protection, and just protection overall, and recognizing that I'm going to be okay. And then I'm just going to share the other cards that I got. I know this is talking a lot about me, but I hope that it is helpful for you, and that I want to encourage you to ask your guides and your angels questions. Whether it's one deck of cards that you use, a lot of the time I end up using this deck. I have like 20 plus decks, but for me, it manifests through sometimes seeing a vision of the card. Like, the vision that I got before I started shuffling was getting the Kava Kava card, which is community in this deck. I didn't actually end up pulling this card this time around, but for one, that in and of itself is a message, but also I see that as an indication of, okay, I'm going to use that deck. So, get yourself a deck or two of cards, oracle cards or tarot, whatever speaks to you best, and use those to ask your angels and your guides the questions that are on your heart. Don't just let them just like sit there and not do anything with them. When they come up, they serve a purpose. They're meant to guide you, right? Sometimes it's just a matter of asking the question out loud, or connecting to my guides and being like, what does this mean? I do everyday things. I rarely sit in meditation. I know there are a lot of people who connect to their guides that way. Sometimes I'm guided to do that, but it's not a daily thing for me. A lot of the time, I'm simply just doing everyday tasks. Sometimes I set intentions, and I'll just, for example, I was hanging tags at work, and I was like, there's this strange level of silence right now where I didn't have any customers. And it was just this eerie, like, it's been raining all week. Apparently summers in Arizona are just rainy, which I love. But it was just a strange, eerie silence. And I was like, okay, I feel so clear right now. I feel like I can just hear myself think. So I was like, okay, guys and angels, what do you want to tell me? Is this whole thing with pursuing online education, is this worth it? Is this something I have to even do? And it's like, the thing that came through for me was like, honestly, as long as you trust that it's going to happen, if this is what you want, you can have it. And that's in that time, that's when basically the prayer was to the universe, if you provide for this, which is a prayer I've had many times and it's always worked out, if you provide this, if you provide for this, if you're giving me this vision or this goal and you provide for it, then of course I'm gonna do it. Why else wouldn't I, right? It's interesting because in this time of doing this, I don't have savings, I don't have money or anything like that that's like built up. I have no fear whatsoever about getting admitted, about how I'm gonna pay it. Like, I applied for the FAFSA, I was looking at scholarships, didn't really see anything, and it's just like, there's absolutely no fear, no anxiety. I'm just not numb, I'm just neutral to it. Like, I don't feel any fear concerning it, and it's just like, if it, like, it's returning back to that mantra of it is what it is, whatever happens, happens. If I get admitted, if I get scholarships, if I get a way to pay monthly, like, I'm just one step at a time. Like, this is probably the first time for something so big like this where I'm just like, I don't feel any fear whatsoever. Okay, so sorry. I also got this. I got Mukuna, which is Journey, which, as I saw it, what came up was like, it's just about the journey. It's just about, like, just seeing how much my story is so varied and different in the past, my whole life. Just seeing how many places I've been, what I've done, how many jobs I've had, how many experiences I've had, and just how wild these stories are. I told a little bit of my story to my assistant manager, and it wasn't really in his reaction to it necessarily, but as I was walking down the stairs and we were about to go home, the thought that was coming up was like, wow, my story is so intense. Like, it's so weird. It's so like it's not like any other story. There may be people who've gone through things similarly, but my story is unique, it's different. Like, if I was to write a book about this, it would be wild. And it's like, just recognizing how much each of those things that I've gone through were meant to create me as I am right now, who I am right now, who I am today. It's all because of everything I've gone through. Even in the times when I went through stuff and it was hell, like, I'm still here. I'm still going. So, enjoying the journey, and with that joy, I also got the hibiscus card that came out right after, which is joy. I'm sorry the colors are so weird. I have like one light up there. I could turn these on, but it's okay. So I got that, and then I just got a whole nother bunch of cards. So I got Ginseng, Magician. I got Palo Santo, Guardian. I got St. John's Wort, Radiance, and I got Chamomile, Inner Peace. And with those 4 cards, I really just felt this energy of like, my journey is about spirituality. It's about spiritual ascension. It's about spiritual growth. It's about serving as kind of a medium for people. I don't really love the term guru, but being in that energy of just learning, just receiving, being an eternal student, and being willing to share what I'm learning in a higher consciousness way. I've never really connected to trends. I've never really connected to doing what everyone else does. And I really think that we're moving into an energy, I know people call it the 5D energy, but I really feel like we're moving into an energy where it's more about higher consciousness things, higher consciousness topics, where people are going to seek out growth spiritually, physically. It's about ascension. Like, we're in an energy, we're in a season of ascending. Okay, and then I also felt the download to get my numerology cards, which I have these deck right here. And again, just adding to all these revelations I was already getting, but kind of like confirmation. So I got spirituality, I got spiritual career, I got personal growth, I got spiritual partnership, which was very interesting because it's like, okay, I can see this 2 ways, because it can mean that I will eventually have a partner, but it will be a more of a spiritual connection, and like more spiritual than I guess natural only. I don't know if that makes sense, but like being spiritually connected in that way, but not necessarily thinking upon more carnal things like family or, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Or it can just mean like spiritual connection with others in terms of connecting to many different people in a spiritual way. So yeah, so I don't fully know what this means, but I'm not gonna overthink it. And then I also got the nature card. But yeah, like basically things I've always kind of been aware of and known are what came up in this reading of this understanding of like when I found out I was a master number 11, I really connected with that energy, and the beginning of my spiritual awakening was very centered around the number 11 as well, in terms of the duality of it, the balance of it. Balance was a word that came up a lot during that time, and even feeling this connection to two Egyptian goddesses, Sekhmet and Bast. At one time I did want to get like a tattoo of both of them, with like a set of scales and being perfectly balanced with an 11 and a sun and a moon. I don't know if I'm gonna get that tattoo, but I've gotten many visualizations of tattoos that I've wanted to get, so I don't know if I'm ever going to get them. But you know, just this energy of the kind of like Athena energy of Sekhmet, where she's goddess of war, kind of. She's much more fierce. She's a lioness. She has that energy of just fierceness and boldness, right? And then the energy of Bast, who's like the black cat energy, but she's feminine. She's pure, wholesome, calm, controlled, and just like having those energies feeling completely balanced, which honestly, when I think about even my astrology, having a Cancer rising and a Leo sun, Leo moon, it almost feels like my Cancer energy balances out my Leo energy, but it's also like holding it at bay sometimes, because I feel like my emotions can probably be very, very fierce, but my like Cancerness kind of tones it down a little bit, or a lot actually. It tones it down and makes it like more gentle and nurturing. But yeah, these were what came through for me, for my my set of thoughts, and it's kind of been my journey over the past few weeks. I'm really also focusing a lot on weight loss. I'm focusing on just being overall more healthier and more yeah, just wellness overall, kind of restoring back to the weight I had before the insecurities my parents kind of put on me. I won't say my parents, my mom, with her always saying I was like too thin, never growing, that really festered a lot of energy in me to want to put on weight, because I felt like I was not enough by being so thin, and I never really saw myself as super thin or like unhealthy or anything. But with her being like that, and then I started admiring, like, she was curvy and she looked more like a woman, and I was like, this is what a woman looks like. And then, you know, one of the guys I had a really big crush on, well, we kind of mutually knew that we liked each other, and we had a really good relationship. We didn't date or anything, but even with him having a slightly more preference, I guess, for someone who had a little more curves, that also pressured me into feeling like I needed to be more. So I intentionally put on weight. I intentionally like spoke to my body and was like, I need you to hold in the weight to grow, and I did. And then my mom was like, and my stepfather were both like, you're fat now, which really wasn't. But I had grown, and to be fair, into like the womanly body that was expected of me, and then suddenly I was too fat. But now, like a year, 2 years later, I'm in the space where I do want to be thinner, not out of a space of like not appreciating my body for what it is. I do love my body as it is, but I'm just like, I don't know, I just kind of want to be back at where I was, just because I was healthy, I was fit, you know, I had more of an athletic build, and you know, I see that kind of coming back a little bit now, but you know, being more intentional about exercising and working out each day, having this mindset in terms of like embodying it in terms of, again, exercising, having my supplements, fasting, walking to work when I can. I also bought like a few different clothing items, which some of them got canceled. I'm kind of upset about that. Of more like athletic wear, like leggings and like tank tops, sports bras, which I now have to reorder. And yeah, just having more of an athletic clothing, just being more active, being more fit in general. But yeah, just embodying more health and wellness than aesthetics. And yeah, just being proud of, like, I have to really tell myself, like, I'm proud of myself. I eat mostly all organic food. Well, all organic in terms of grocery shopping and cooking, but I have had a few slip ups this week of buying pizza, so but overall, like, eating's pretty healthy and pretty well. So yeah, like, there have been different shifts on like focusing on different things I want to do, like doing my nails, which I hope to do tomorrow. We'll see. But doing my nails, different things about taking care of my skin, which has been breaking out because I've been eating pizza. Changing out all my hardware slowly but surely to gold jewelry, getting more piercings, possibly. You may notice I don't have my septum ring in. It came out like last week. I really hope it doesn't close up before I get my new septum rings. But yeah, just like all these little things that are like aesthetic, but kind of me slowly but surely coming into who I want to be in like another level. I feel like from November of last year, when I left my job, left my roommates, all that stuff, to now, has been all about a spiritual journey. Living at the bare minimum, living in my car, traveling, enjoying the simplest things, and enjoying the beauty of the simplicity. That was all a spiritual journey. And then now coming into a space of working, it feels very weird. It feels temporary. I will say that. It's just this energy of like, I know this is temporary, but it serves a purpose. I don't think I'm meant to work in that. I love this environment. Like, honestly, if I were to work anywhere, this is the job that I would want to have. But it doesn't fully feel aligned with the spiritual aspect of where I want to be, of teaching, of channeling, of working for myself. But it does serve a purpose, you know, eventually, of saving money, of just like elevating in multiple different ways that only this environment, living in my apartment, having this job, having this role, communicating and interacting with the people that I communicate and interact with, they all serve a purpose to make me and mold me into more of who I'm supposed to be. So I will enjoy the journey, and my nose is my nose is itching now, but like, I will enjoy the journey as long as I'm in it, because I know it serves a purpose. But yeah, that is where I'm at right now. If you watched the whole video, please drop a green heart or a green emoji of some kind. oh no, a sun emoji or both, either one, in the comments to let me know that you got this far. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you were able to learn some things or feel some things. I don't know. It's been a really fun journey. I don't know how consistent I'm gonna be on YouTube. I just haven't felt that pull to make any tarot videos lately. It's really been about finding this balance between resting and also creating a whole new set of visions for my life and just recognizing who I want to be. And yeah, it's really been about self a lot. So I'm focusing on self and yeah. So I will see you whenever I do upload a new video, but thank you for joining me. Bye.